Hello and welcome to Anime Reactions. I am here with the lovely Carmela Kupritz, and she's going to tell us a little bit about Animefood, her magazine here on Anime Reactions. So, without further ado, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your magazine for us.
Animefood is a magazine, obviously about anime, manga, but also we try to cover conventions, movies, anything that can be related to anime. So not just anime itself. It's anime food because you are what you eat. And so, you know, by watching a lot of anime, absorbing it, eating it, you are anime food.
Is there anything that we should know about Animefood? I know that Animefood is going national now.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about the process of transitioning into becoming a national magazine? What's that like?
It's a little difficult because you are funding the magazine yourself or through sponsors, and so when you go national, you're still paying for all of those processes. Also, going national means that your format has to kind of be in place. We know a lot of people don't like to see a whole lot of change once the magazine goes out. The other thing about going national is you always have to keep an eye on the other magazines that are out there, which we find to be the most difficult process. Many new anime magazines are coming out now. We know there's a lot of fanzines that are just regional. And so I think the processes are sort of easy, but not easy in the respect that you have to kind of stay a trooper, listen to your passions, and not give up.
Now let me ask you this. Now you're starting to build up a fan base. And once you're transitioning to a nationally recognized, when you become national, are you afraid that you might, how are you keeping it so that your fan base will still be able to recognize the magazine while continuing to push it forward so that you can bring in a whole new wave of people to Animefood?
Well, we have a core staff of writers, and the rest of the writers are all fans. So we like to change up all of our writers. We don't want to be a magazine that this is our staff, this is who writes, and that's it, and you're going to read what we say. We like to have our core writers because some people come to look forward to those people's writings. But we also want to stay young, we want to stay current, and I think in doing that, you have to listen to what the fans say. And not just listen to them, but let them write. Fans love to write, they love to blog, they love to review. And so why not let them do that and see themselves in print? So I think that's what will make us stay ahead of everything, that we're not listening to what the advertisers are saying to us to say, but we're writing from an otaku's point of view. This is what we think of what you've put out. This is what we think about the anime. This is what we thought about even the format. Or
so honest and open and candid about your feelings.
Yeah, even,
and that's one of the crux of the magazine. Is that kind of the mission statement, if you will, of the magazine?
Yes, that is the mission statement.
Now, let me ask you this. I know that this magazine is pretty much the first one here in Chicago. In fact, I do believe it's the first one of its kind in Chicago. How does it feel to break new ground with an animated magazine, with a magazine devoted to anime such as this?
I think...
Do you see yourself as a pioneer?
I don't think it's settled in yet. It was suggested to me actually by the Japanese consulate, a lady named Hiroko Saito. And she said, you know, it would be really great if you would publish these interviews that, you know, they've given me. And so I think that I was just doing it kind of on a whim, as something fun, because I'm a fan too. And so I don't think it's settled in yet that, I've done something, new and different.
Not as of yet?
Not yet.
Let me ask you, I know that I've talked to you before, and this was a little bit of what we talked to off camera, but you talked about almost pulling out of doing this magazine. What led you to feel like that? What were some of the things that kind of made you say, I don't know if I can continue on? And then tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think a big part of it is when you're a fan and when you work with fans and other otakus, sometimes it's hard for people to grasp the concept that you're moving, further into your fandom and you're trying to make a business out of it and be successful. And so I think it gets a little difficult when it becomes a lot of pressure that, not just I'm writing for myself, but I'm writing for other people to look at, that I'm not doing it, when I feel like, but we have deadlines. And so in doing that, a lot of people kind of disappeared and dropped off, and I was left to do the whole layouts.
The brunt of the work. So you're saying some of the joy in doing it was kind of sapped by the fact that you had a lot of the responsibilities?
Yeah, and that I just kind of felt saddened and started to feel like maybe this wasn't something that people wanted. The subscriptions were coming in, but sort of slowly. And then the new Otaku USA launched. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like I probably couldn't compete with that. And I just started to feel really kind of sad. Like, I wanted to do a fan magazines for fan, by fans, strictly fan, and that maybe it wasn't, people wanted to see more commercial. Mm-hmm. And so I started to pull back a little bit.
So tell us, there's got to be obviously something that galvanized you to come back and say, you know what, I'm going to continue, I'm going to keep pushing forward. Come on, tell us that so we can inspire the fans out there, because I know there's a great story there.
Well, I had decided to pull back, and I went and met with my friend Addie, and he told me to just take it slow and don't put it out there yet that I had given up. And I was really disheartened, and he just kept saying, go slow, we'll go to Anime Expo. I hadn't had my confirmation for my press pass. And so I just was feeling like, it's over. And so I didn't give up, and I didn't email everybody and say it's over. And the very next day, after talking to Addie, I got confirmation that I had press for Anime Expo. And immediately following that, I found my contract in the mail, which I hadn't gone through my mail, for going national. And it was those things that kind of fell into place. And I did tell a couple of other people, and they were emailing me, telling me, don't give up, this was really awesome, and we want to see this succeed. And so I started to try to, pull myself together and say, I'm going to do this.
Now, after you did that, did you feel like a lot of people started to, when you felt more galvanized to do it, and you felt like there was more energy behind it, do you feel like other people kind of came back on, or did you feel like they were already in place?
I think I felt like the people were in place, but I just didn't know that they were there, that they were the people that would help me more than the people I thought would help me. And that was an interesting experience. So I found out who the people were who were really interested in doing this, and the people who were doing it just for their own kind of gain.
Can you tell me a little bit about some of the interesting people that you've had the opportunity to interview? Because I know you've interviewed a lot of interesting people. Just if you could give us a couple. Just tell us a few.
I think my most memorable was Yoshiyuki Tomino. you know, the father of Gundam. I was frightened that you're there. And we're honored that, you know, they've come. And I think that when you feel that between each other, that the interviews always go so much better, so much open. They're not afraid to talk to you, you know, because I think as Americans we get like a bad rap as far as press and interviews and things. And I think that they really enjoy when we're a fan and we're interviewing them and they're happy that we're fans.
I think it's also the fact that we don't take the time to learn about what's going on in their culture, and I think that comes through in their music and also in a lot of the anime as well. Do you feel that way?
No, I agree, 100%. You know, like with Gundam, I think that, you know, a lot of things people couldn't get into it because they didn't understand, like, you know, really what was going on, what was he trying to say. And that understanding that about them, you know, or a little bit of history, that you can appreciate it even more, that it's not just something there for entertainment, that it's, you know, that they're creating it to give us a message and for, you know, to show their art.
Yeah, and Gundam's also great because it kind of blurs the lines and gives that kind of gray, wonderful gray element of no right, no wrong, they're just people. And that's also described here in Animefood when with the interview of the father of Gundam right here in Animefood. And right now I want to thank you so much for coming out, Carmela.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a privilege to have this opportunity. And I want to thank all of you out there for viewing Anime Reactions, and please do view us again.